I'm back. So we are talking upper body, and I went over some of this before, but I want to make it clearer and slow down and show you a couple different things that I use in my yoga classes to help people understand this relationship of head, shoulders, rib cage. So I mentioned before that we tend to overarch to stand up straight, and that doesn't actually fix the relationship of head, shoulder, rib cage. It just tips it. It's like if you have a potted plant and the plant's straight up and then the pot gets tipped onto something, the plant will curve to get upright. So this is curving to get upright. If I bring my ribs in, you can see my head and shoulders come forward. I'm not actually bringing my head and shoulders forward, I'm just dropping my ribs. And so in order for you to figure out what that means, dropping the ribs, how to not pinch this together here, and to figure out how to then change this upper spine, you can do this lying down on the floor. I recommend putting something under your head, and it can be pretty high. You don't want your chin to be up like this toward the ceiling, higher than your forehead. Now mine's pretty flat, but even still, take your head up at least a little off the floor. This is probably an inch or so off the floor. When you're lying down, my legs are extended. When you're lying down, if you put your hand under your back, feel how much of your spine curves off the floor. And for most of us, it goes up into the rib cage. So what I want you to do is actually pull your ribs toward the floor. You'll still have curve at the back of the waist, so that's different from flattening everything, in which I have to bend my legs to make that happen. Nothing's moving down here. I'm just going to pull my ribs down and try and make my rib cage touch the floor. And then at the same time, I'm going to try and bring my shoulders to the floor without the ribs flying up. And that's it. That's the whole thing. Just hold that. And it's hard to do both. It's a lot of work. All my abdominal muscles are working, and things that haven't been working to support my spine are working now. Because I was pushing my ribs forward, my spine was sort of just folding itself upright instead of actually being upright. So I can work on it here, and then you relax. And then you may notice your ribs aren't as high off the floor. So you try it again. You pull your ribs in, and you draw your shoulders to the floor. You just do your best with it. They may not reach the floor, but you head in that direction. And again, your head is resting on something. You should be looking up at the ceiling. I'm only looking sideways so I can talk to you, because I've missed you. All right, that's what you're going to work on. So that's a supine version of dropping the ribs. It feels very strange at first because dropping the ribs feels so collapsed, and that's because we got to address what's going on up here. So this is a start. This is a good start. Give it a try. I'll show you another way to work on this same thing tomorrow.